meditate on Sri Ramakrishna and pray for the well-being of the whole humanity. Shanti Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Stapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Stapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been discussing some spiritual topics taken from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And today's topic, the significance of solitude. Sri Ramakrishna has mentioned a number of times the importance of going to solitude. You know, the way we are conducting ourselves in this world, it is making the senses and the mind hyperactive. The minds are constantly and vigorously pursuing their respective objects. Mind is vigorously connected to these feedbacks from the senses, and the soul, being attached to the mind and the senses, is becoming totally involved in the activities of the senses and the mind. That means he is becoming highly active in the world. So much so, he has no time left to think of the divine, to think of the reality. So he is building up, as it were, inertia, because he is continuously involving very intensely in the activities of the world. To the same extent, the inertia is being built up in the mind, and it is becoming impossible for him to think about spiritual dimension, as if it is not existing for him, as if it is not there, as if this world is the only real thing to be involved, and as long as we live in this world, let us enjoy it to the maximum extent. That's all the purpose. And so, people are running and running and running in order to get more and more and more sensuous pleasures. But they don't come simply, they also bring a chain of sufferings. So, even though he is seeking happiness in this world, he is not able to enjoy the happiness because it is always associated with some kind of sufferings. So, he becomes, in a way, disgusted, or rather, he feels a kind of disappointment in this way of life. So, some people begin to think seriously about their state of affairs. Well, they should do something, they should explore what exactly the reality, they should explore what exactly the purpose of this human life, which is very precious. This human life is a gift of God. Gift of God. And so Sri Ramakrishna always tells, first put all your efforts in realizing God. Then you be in the world, you be a householder, you conduct all activities, nothing will happen to you. You will not be tainted by worldliness because you have developed love and devotion to God, and you have the experience of God. So you have known the reality, so you are no more to suffer. So Sri Ramakrishna is giving the hint that in order to really make use of this precious human life, the gift of God, we should certainly give serious thoughts and sincerely put our efforts to realize the truth. And to develop love and devotion in the worldly atmosphere or in the worldly surroundings or in worldly associations is impossible. So, you have to turn back all the hyperactive senses and the mind. You must turn them all towards entirely new way of life, that is spiritual life. It is totally different from what the life you are ordinarily living. Simply people use the name of God without any sense. It has lost its meaning. And simply it's a word. Because unless it is nourished by love and devotion, people cannot get the real joy. So, Sri Ramakrishna tells very emphatically, even if one lives in the world, one must go into solitude now and then. He is using the word must. Underline the word must. That means how it is essential to go into solitude. So, Sri Ramakrishna is instructing positively to go to solitude. It will be of great help if a person goes away, far away from his family and other relatives, links, and lives alone for a certain period of time. If he weeps for God, if he really hankers for the realization of the truth, even for 3 days, it is of immense help to the person. Even if he thinks of God for 1 day in solitude, when he has the leisure, that too will do him good. These are the words of Sri Ramakrishna. People shed a whole jug of tears for their family, for their kith and kin. But who really cries for the Lord, who has given this precious human birth? So, now and then, you must go into solitude and practice spiritual discipline. Going to solitude is one thing, but after going there, what do? Do you simply spend the time in chatting? Or simply spend the time in wandering about? No. Every moment of your solitude life must be utilized properly. And that is, you must engage yourself in scriptural studies, in worship, in japa, in meditation, and all connected activities which will enhance your spiritual input. Living in the world and entangled in many of its duties, the aspirant during the first stage of spiritual life finds many obstacles in the path of concentration. Even though he wants to concentrate, he cannot do it. Millions of thoughts come, millions. They simply bombard your mind. They just don't allow you to sit. Even though you are physically sitting, internally you are away from your sitting posture. Your mind has run away. It doesn't want to sit. It doesn't want to obey your commands. So, Sri Ramakrishna is giving you the significance of solitude. See how the trees on the path, on the footpath, when they are young, when they are very little plants, they must be fenced around. They must be fenced around. Otherwise, they will be destroyed by cattle. The fence is necessary when the tree is pretty young, but it can be taken away when the trunk is thick and strong. Then the tree won't be hurt even if an elephant is tied to it. So, the disease of worldliness. These are all the words of Sri Ramakrishna in the Gospel. Don't unnecessarily identify yourself with this world, thinking it to be real. And Sri Ramakrishna tells, the more you are in the world, the more you are attacked by the disease of worldliness. Disease of worldliness. When it becomes too much, it becomes chronic, it becomes uncontrollable, then you will become victim of worldliness. Victim. You don't have any taste for God. You just live and die like an earthworm. That's all. So, Sri Ramakrishna is comparing the disease of worldliness is like typhoid. There are huge jug of water and a jar of savory pickles in the typhoid patient's room. If you want to cure him of his illness, remove them all from that room. The worldly man is like the typhoid patient. The various objects of pleasures are the huge jug of water, and the craving for their enjoyments is his thirst. The very thought of pickles makes one water his mouth. His mouth waters, and you don't have to bring them near. Even the thought of pickles is enough to create an appetite in your tongue. And he is surrounded with them. So, there are so many pickles in the world which are devouring you totally towards the world. Hence, the treatment in solitude is necessary. It is very necessary. So one must go into solitude. One must go. And people find time for doing everything, but when it comes to spiritual discipline, they won't find time. That's the paradox. You have to find out some time in a month. Purposely, you must go to solitude and live that solitude life, even for 3 days. Sri Ramakrishna says, even for 1 day, it will have great impact upon your spiritual personality, and you will grow really. But if you are sincere in your effort, God is sure to help you and you will enjoy it. So Sri Ramakrishna said further, dive deep. Dive deep. That means become more and more absorbed and totally active in the spiritual way. What will you gain by merely floating on the surface? Give up everything for a few days. Just for a few days. Think nothing is with you. Retire into solitude and call on God with all your soul. The Master sang, dive deep, O mind, dive deep in the ocean of God's beauty. If you descend to the uttermost depths, there you will find the gem of love. What are the spiritual disciplines that give the mind its upward direction? Sri Ramakrishna says, one learns all this by constantly living in holy company. The rishis of olden times, how did they realize the truth? How each one of them was revealing the Vedas. They lived either in solitude or in the company of holy persons. Therefore, they could easily give up lust and gold, and they could easily fix their minds on God. They had no fear, nor did they mind the criticism of others. The Kundalini Shakti is in everyone. Is in everyone. It is speedily awakened if one follows the path of bhakti. It can be awakened by any method, but path of bhakti is also one of the paths which awakens the Kundalini easily. God cannot be seen unless Kundalini is awakened. Kundalini means the spiritual power. So Sri Ramakrishna tells, sing earnestly and secretly in solitude. Don't make an advertisement. I am going for tapas. I am doing tapas. Why should the people know about what you are doing? Is it for people's sake are you doing, or for the sake of God you are practicing solitude? That means what Sri Ramakrishna is telling is, you don't have to advertise. You don't have to say also, I have done this, that, etc. Everything, keep it yourself. Let the fruit come, then you will enjoy. Then you can share the fruit with others. Till the fruit comes, keep everything undisclosed. Sing earnestly and secretly in solitude. Ram Prasad achieved perfection through singing. In fact, in Tyagaraja in South India, he had the vision of Rama just by singing. Just by singing. The life of Tyagaraja is available. It's published by Ramakrishna Mission. And even today, Tyagaraja Aradhan, the whole South India is very famous. 15 days they will have music festival in memory of Tyagaraja, and they sing Tyagaraja Kritis, songs composed by Tyagaraja. Oh, it is tremendous. Those festival days are really remarkable. You must practice spiritual discipline a little. It will not do simply to say that milk contains butter. You must let the milk set into curd and then churn it. Only then can you get butter from it. Spiritual aspirants must go into solitude now and then. After acquiring love of God in solitude, they may live in the world. If one is wearing a pair of shoes, one can easily walk over them. First comes God. How many times, in how many ways Sri Ramakrishna is telling us about God, about the ways to reach Him. He is very clear. and very direct in giving the instructions. First comes God and then the world. So, realize God first. Then you will know all about His world. This world belongs to Him. It was created by Him. You will know everything about it. If you know the master of the garden, you will know everything about the garden. So he is giving the example. If first one is introduced to Jadu Malik, then one can know everything about him. The number of his houses, gardens, government securities, and so on. For this reason, the Rishi Narad advised Valmiki to repeat the word Mara. Ma means God and Ra the world. So first comes God and then the world. Therefore, like Valmiki, one should at first renounce everything, give up everything, and cry to God in solitude with a longing heart. So he went and sat through meditation till he got the vision of Rama. Same way, Dhruva, a boy, got initiated, went and practiced spiritual disciplines, sat under a tree, concentrated, and then got the vision of Narayan. So everything must be done only through following proper disciplines. The first thing necessary is the vision of God. The situation is very difficult. There is so much confusion in the world. If you go this way, you are threatened with a shovel. If you go that way, you are threatened with broomstick. Again in another direction, you are threatened with a shoe beating. These are the words of Sri Ramakrishna. Besides, one cannot think of God unless one lives in solitude. The goldsmith melts gold to make ornaments. But how can he do his work well if he is disturbed again and again? Suppose you are separating rice from the bits of husk. You must do it all by yourself. Every now and then you have to take the rice in your hand and to see how clean it is. But how can you do your work well if you are called away again and again? So, you have to spend a few days in solitude. If you but touch the granny, you are safe. Turn yourself into gold and then live wherever you please. After realization of God and divine love in solitude, one may live in the world as well. That is why Sri Ramakrishna says, I ask the youngsters to stay with me, for they will develop love of God by staying here for a few days. So Sri Ramakrishna is suggesting how to develop that love and appetite for spiritual life. You have to live in solitude, you have to live in holy association. You have to constantly hear spiritual ideas. And so, solitude is a very important step to turn the hyperactive mind from the world towards God. It requires a lot of force from you. If the mind is too much worldly, it is too difficult for you to turn it back. But anyway, you have to struggle, and it's worth struggling. So, in the next class also I will continue the same topic. the significance of solitude. Page 650. At the outset, I noticed a little vanity in Devendra, and isn't that natural? I think I've read that. 651 page. The very next day, Mathur received a letter from Devendra forbidding me to go to the festival. He wrote that it would be ungentlemanly of me not to cover my body with a shawl. All laugh. There is another big man, Captain. Though a man of the world, he is a great lover of God. To Mahima, Sri Ramakrishna said, talk to him sometime. He knows the Vedas, the Vedanta, the Bhagavad, the Gita, the Adhyatma Ramayana and other scriptures by heart. You will find that out when you talk to him. He has great piety. Once I was going along a street in Baranagar and he held an umbrella over my head. He invites me to his house and shows me great attention. He fans me, massages my feet and feeds me with various dishes. Once at his house, I went into samadhi in the toilet and he took care of me there, though he is so particular about his orthodox habits. He didn't show any abhorrence for the place. He has many expenses. He supports his brothers who live in Benares. His wife was a miserly woman at first. Now she is so burdened by the expenses of the family that she cannot spend all the money she would like to. Captain's wife said to me, he doesn't enjoy worldly life. That's why he once said he would renounce the world. True, every now and then he expressed that desire. Captain was born in a family of devotees. His father was a soldier. I have heard that on the battlefield he would worship Shiva with one hand and hold a naked sword in the other. Captain is a strong upholder of orthodox conventions. Because of my visiting Keshav Chandra Sen, he stopped coming here for a month. He said to me that Keshav had violated the social conventions. He dined with the English, had married his daughter into another caste, and had lost his own caste. I said to Captain, what do I care for such things? Keshav chants the name of God, so I go to him to hear about God. I eat only the plum. What do I care about the thorns? But Captain remained stubborn. He said to me, why do you see Keshav? I answered him rather sharply, but I don't go to him for money. I go there to hear the name of God. And how is it that you visit the Viceroy's house? He is a mlecha. How can you be in his company? That silenced him a little. But he is a great devotee. When he worships, he performs arati with camphor. When he recites hymns, he becomes a totally different person. He becomes absorbed. To Mahimacharan, Sri Ramakrishna said, in the light of Vedanta, reasoning the world, in the light of Vedantic reasoning, the world is illusory, unreal as a dream. The Supreme Soul is the witness of the three states of waking, dream and deep sleep. These things are in your line of thought. The waking state is only as real as a dream. Let me tell you a story that agrees with your attitude. There was a farmer who lived in the countryside. He was a real Jnani. He earned his living by farming. He was married, and after many years, a son was born to him, whom he named Haru. The parents loved the boy dearly. This was natural, since he was the one precious gem in the family. On account of his religious nature, the farmer was loved by the villagers. One day, he was working in the field when a neighbor came and told him that Haru had had an attack of cholera. The farmer at once returned home and arranged for treatment of the boy. He arranged treatment for the boy, but Haru died. The other members of the family were grief-stricken, but the farmer acted as if nothing had happened. He consoled his family and told them that grieving was futile. Then he went back to his field. On returning home, he found his wife weeping even more bitterly. She said to him, "How heartless you are! You haven't shed one tear for the child?" The farmer replied quietly, "Shall I tell you why I have not wept? I had a very vivid dream last night. I dreamt I had become a king. I was the father of 8 sons and was very happy with them. Then I woke up. Now I am greatly perplexed. Should I weep for those 8 sons or for this one Haru?" The farmer was a jnani. Therefore he realized that the waking state is as unreal as a dream state. There is only one eternal substance, and that is the Atman. But for my part, I accept everything, Turiya, and also the 3 states of waking, dream and deep sleep. I accept all these states. I accept all, Brahman and also Maya, the universe and its living beings. If I accepted less, I should not get the full weight. We shall stop. So, the retreats are conducted just to encourage people to spare their time in spiritual practices in solitude. So, it is very important. Any question? Any discussion? Aratrijjana samsadi, Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Aratrijjana samsadi. So, you must get out of all the usual surrounding atmosphere. Get into separate atmosphere where you feel uplifted. And in a holy place, you will have that uplifting atmosphere. But the holy place must be properly maintained in order to keep intact the holy vibrations. That's very, very important. So one has to do practice. That's all. Vedanta means practicing spirituality in daily life. That is Vedanta. Vedanta starts with that. If a person is not doing any spiritual practice, Vedanta has not started at all. So, one has to be serious and thoughtful about using this golden, precious gift of God, human life. Alright, thank you. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life one heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to thyself, give honor to all, chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the ties of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied, for he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.